Okay, so I'm 70 and a half years old, and there was this point over the summer, like around July, when I started waking up, and I guess the brain chatter of morbidity, what's the point? You're getting old, blah, 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 seemed to have been removed. And suspiciously, all of that kind of aging narrative in my head was at its highest level. I was additionally, I feel for me, I was infirmed. I needed help doing a lot of stuff. I needed help with. I needed assistance in the restroom. I needed assistance with bathing, food preparation, reaching things on the upper shelf. If I was making food for myself, I would just sit down 3 or 4 times and rest in between it all. And somewhere around July, I had the audacity to kind of like, I don't know, whatever that is, somewhere between prayer and manifestation, where I don't want to do this anymore. I need some help. I don't want to lay here and I'm slowly dying. This isn't good. So then it looked like that in the mirror too. I just looked like I was on my way out. And I'm not young. So in the process of that, I'm watching TV and so forth. I look up, and apparently they've taken some pictures of Madagascar, because that's the darkest place it is on Earth, and they were able to look up, and then they saw, as they sort of geocentric set their computerized telescopes and photography to stay with the stars, so that there was no movement. This thing comes fucking hauling through at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like, what is that? And you could see it on the thing as it went by. It's going fast. And when they finally get the pictures, and I think they called one of the observatories, one of the big monster observatories, and they said, "Check this out," and they got it, and their picture was a little bit clearer, and that was the first one. And to me, I have been looking at stuff coming in our space area since kid, meteors, the space program, NASA, Lockheed. I was at the goodbye party for Cassini at JPL Laboratory. So I'm a completely rational space human being, and I'm always interested when there's spatial anomalies, or asteroids, things that are going to be happening, or any discoveries on the other planets. I keep up with it. It's a go-to for me. So I was like, oh, there's interplanetary structure coming in from maybe another galaxy and so forth. Isn't that interesting? It's traveling very quick. And when they showed me the unlike anything I've ever seen in my life, when the TV people said, this is what it looks like, and they showed it, like, as I keep saying, coming in, I was like, what? Your parents are here. Like, my whole demeanor shifted, like, Jesus is coming, look busy. The boss is back early. I think your parents are home. Probably clean up. There was like I felt like I was like skinny dipping in the neighbor's pool, and they like drove up in the driveway. But there's not like there's enough time to put my, get my clothes back on and sneak out of the yard. But I think they're here. I think they're here. Okay, let's get out of here. So, but my first impression was, and there was somebody with me at the time, was the fact that it was an absolutely just nothing else. My full instinct was, that's an alien craft. That's not a comet. That's not an asteroid. That's not a chunk of something. There's like whatever it is that we are, whatever it is that they are, but this was intelligent. And how that felt to me was the fact that all this other time, I don't care what they call it, like an anti-tail. Fuck you. It's their headlights. God, quit overthinking it. And as it gets closer, it doesn't get less. It doesn't get more comet-like. It gets more spaceship-like. Size of Manhattan. 33 tons of nickel. Yeah. Surely it's 2025. You know, Trump's a little crazy. MAGA's into it. No one's going to get scared. This will be awesome. You know, because that MAGA's a Bigfoot crowd. They're going to want this stuff. Can't wait. It's going to get closer. Let's turn everything on there. Get all the satellites ready. You know, turn around all the big, satellites out in outer space and satellites, telescopes, and let's get a picture of it. What? They closed NASA? There's no information? And then when they come back online, they hand out something that has more pixels than mosaic. I've seen mosaics in Rome that look more lifelike than this fucking picture they put out. The picture was an insult. So if they can say all day long that this thing is not intelligent life, their actions told me it was intelligent life. So as it gets closer, I start acting younger. My thoughts go back to things I thought about when I was 25. More creative sense of humor. Cleverness seems to erupt. There's a lot more laughing going on around me and my friends. I'm being way sillier, and I'm feeling more physically fit very quickly. I'm not, I didn't get anything. I didn't get a shot. I'm not like, I've changed no therapy whatsoever. I've not introduced anything. And suddenly I'm up and about. Walking, talking, engaging, standing, not infirmed. In the middle of it, someone who had no clue what my personal health issues were called me and said, hey, can you pick me up at the airport Sunday at midnight? And we were in the middle of a rainstorm. I thought, well, there's a good challenge. So I did, just see if I could do it. And it was a shit show, but I had to negotiate the world's largest, Land Cruiser. I drive a bus practically, and I had to get there and get it out. So I did that. It was cool. Get down there, get back, So my balance is good, losing weight. I feel healthy, and I think it's that thing coming in. So as that thing got closer and closer and closer, I'm getting more and more vibey, and I'm like, am I getting excited about it? And then finally, I tripped over the fact of like, oh my God, the magnetic field, and of course the Schumann resonance, and all of the things that control megahertz, and the magnetic fields that get strummed by the waves coming off the sun or energies that come by, and I think that extraterrestrial whatever 3-eye atlas thing is about is I think that they're literally tuning the planet. So as we rounded the bend of the last 2 weeks, my conditions have been, I'm continuously forgetting everything. I don't know if it's day or night. I don't know if it's Wednesday or Sunday. I don't know anything. I forget when I'm supposed to eat. I forget all of it. I had to put out a clock that says the month, the day, and the year, and if it's morning or night. I seem to be forgetful, and there seems to be weird time jumps. Like, just weird time jumps. I will be doing something. I will think it's Sunday, it's Monday, it's Tuesday, it's Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's Sunday. What happened to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? I don't remember those days at all. Just recently it was like, hey, it's Friday, it's Saturday, it's Sunday, it's Thursday. What happened to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? And they seem to go away in 3 days increments. It's both sides. I will absolutely be convinced it is midnight, and I'll wonder why the lights are still on or why my neighbor's thing is still going. It's 7 in the evening. And at other times I don't understand, why is everybody so quiet? Because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not transitioning with the day. I'm not transitioning with my environment. And the only thing that's different in this very static study of myself with very little corruption going on, because I've been doing the same fucking shit for 4 years now, since about the pandemic. The only thing that changed was the an interstellar object coming into our area, and the rapid change in our frequency on the planet, or magnetic field being vibrated on the planet, that's completely altered me. My thinking is clearer. I don't have brain fog. I feel super healthy, decisive, intelligent. I feel, it was 5 months ago, I thought I was going to be dead in a year or two. Now I'm just like, whatever. I feel ridiculously young, and not because of ego or fashion or anything that's anything that would be obvious as to why, I would want to manifest that. I wasn't asking to reverse the aging process, but I was asking to reverse the aging process to stay away from what was coming to get me, not because I wanted to put on a jockstrap and be a go-go dancer, at Circus Disco again, because I was good then. So, but I kept all that stuff to myself. I kept all that to myself because I was like, what are you going to say? And this chick, the other chick, God, I think when I was born, Truman was in office. Okay, so just cut me some slack. Anyways, this girl, lady, woman, female, anyways, was just going through the list of what you're going to be experiencing, what you're going to be feeling. It was like everything that was going on with me was on that list. Everything. I mean, everything. I think she said something about gastrointestinal problems. It's like all of it was just like boom, boom, boom. And she said that she was super forgetful. She was forgetting stuff. She didn't know what time of day it was. It was like she's like tumbling through space. And it is, I don't know if north, south, east, or west, or whatever. But what I do know for sure is that I have not been this happy inside. I don't recall, because the last 10 years I've had to live under that regime. The 4-year break under Biden was only to catch my breath. And while he was not president, he still performed heinous acts and said terrible things. We've never got rid of him. And so it would probably have to be sometime before 2015 when my mom's home and alive and my company or the economy is not falling apart. So, I don't know, 2005, 2006 was the last time. So I've gotten used to the idea of not achieving that level of optimism and joy and so forth. As an executive producer of one of the largest musical theater production companies in Los Angeles, and receiving accolades and awards and people applauding you and telling you you're doing such a great job and so forth. You know, my head was full 24/7. So I felt pretty fucking good about myself, you know, and 1,500 people a night laughing at my jokes as I kicked off the theater, doing curtain speeches. It was very popular, cute, sexy guy in LA, and I had money and I was having a nice day, and I was very, very happy, very grateful, very happy, full of joy, share, hug, isn't this amazing, dream come true, comma, 2025. My day consists of probably making some soup, watching some stuff on YouTube, contacting my friends across the United States I've met on TikTok, checking some political stuff out, bathing, cleaning up, putting on clothes, and seeing what I'm going to make for dinner or something, and having a just really, really, really tiny life. And inside of that, no friends, no nightclubs, no drugs, alcohol, going crazy, hanging from the ceiling, car full of, you know, mad queens going down the street, you know, bar hopping and, you know, singing Love to Love You Baby all night long, was all the stimulus that I needed to get there. But in this moment, I have achieved that level of happiness and that level of joy without being on a dance floor, you know, and then later on at a three-way, and then later on at IHOP. In order for me to have a good time and to like feel like, oh God, this is great, I did a lot of stuff, and I did none of those things. I did nobody around me. I don't see anybody, and I had hit the exact same results without having to spend $600 for the VIP line at the nightclub, you know, as I wave everybody on the red carpet. But I loved it. I loved every minute. I like being popular. I like being VIP at the club. I love all that stuff. But I was able to achieve that same happiness and joy and the sense of freedom being in my bedroom, being quiet, because there's a big, I don't know, some intelligent life form is strumming up the sort of the guitar strings of the planet, which is that magnetic field that kind of flows around us. And those things are strumming at a higher frequency. And that Schumann resonant things goes up and down as well, and showing how you're jumping through timelines. It's taken my dead butt, and it's made me feel like a kid again. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's pretty amazing. Again, loopy, kind of like, not sure what day it is or whatever. I feel like I'm permeating or going through a semi-permeable surface into another one. I feel like I'm transitioning from an old time to a new time. I feel like I'm not a psychic person. Like, this is not my, talking about this stuff is not my deal. I'll talk about it, but I'm not like, you know, I don't have to like, you know, Queen Tata brought down her plasma ray, and we all, whatever. I don't prescribe to over labeling everything, but it feels like this era is ending and a new era is starting, and I'm in the middle of it, leaping from like Earth 1 to Earth 2 or whatever, but I'm in the midst of a like I've been put on hold, like I was like talking with, and then they like moved me. And occasionally they set me down in the middle of the space, and I'm like, where am I? And then they pick me back up and keep walking with me. So I feel like I'm moving. I feel like I'm going somewhere. I have the exhilarated sensation of movement, as if I was on a plane or a train or in a car. Take a train or a plane to Hollywood. It's a little Village People thing. All right. So that's what I'm experiencing. And then when I talk to other people, I found, oh my God, it's the same. So I felt the same stuff that everybody felt at 4 a.m. After the election. And a whole bunch of people felt the same thing as I did, which ended up becoming the 4 a.m. club. Like, did you wake up and then feel really bad and then cried your eyes out and then went to sleep and then woke back up and went, he'll be gone within a year. We all had that same, that's a very cramped, shitty explanation of the 4 a.m. club, but it's like the Cliff Notes. Like, we wake up, 4 o'clock, nobody knows what the election is. We all passed out for some reason. And then when we woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we knew when we woke up, he won. And when we went to the television or the radio or our phone and saw that, in fact, that was true, then apparently all of us pupated on the ground and threw up and spun around, and our skin fell off, and I don't know, I lost my tail, I have no idea. Anyway, so it's this huge breakdown of emotional trauma, insane trauma. And then I'm helped to bed after 4 hours of shaking. And then I wake up humming as if I've had a Fresca enema. Just like, wow, it's all going to be okay. But the people around me who were still upset that he had won were not in the same mindset. So days later, I was on TikTok and I typed in like hashtag 4 a.m. And I found a girl that was in, black girl in North Carolina. She was 19 years old, and she explained the exact same thing that had happened to me. So if a 70-year-old white guy in Los Angeles had the same experience as an 18-year-old black girl in North Carolina, what the fuck's going on? What the fuck's going on? And that's when we talked to another one. I talked to another one, and I talked to another one, and I talked to another one. And they had the exact same weird close encounters of a third kind. I was watching the election, and I went to sleep, and then when I woke up, the house was quiet. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I knew in that moment when I opened my eyes that she had lost. And everybody had a variation of that story. So why were we racked up? But because of that, a whole bunch of people that had some abilities all found each other. So maybe that's it. I don't know. I think the story's still being written. So that being who I am, then what's going on with the vibing of the planet, either being it the Schumann resonance or the magnetic field, or the combination of both of those things. But that's happening, and that's being, I think, instituted or influenced by the interstellar spaceship from another planet with other people on it. And I think that they're kind of getting us vibed up. There was a 10,000-year-old volcano that popped off the other day that they tried to sweep under the carpet. And my thing is, if you pop off a few more of those, that's going to have a significant impact on global warming, in the fact of global warming. The temperatures will be able, from a decent seismic explosion, that particular matter will stay in the stratosphere for quite some time and could drop the daily temperature on the planet by 2 or 3 degrees, really saving humanity and the spread, the desertification, and then the drought stuff that's going on. So during the 1920s, Krakatoa, which they used to say east of Java, but it's not, it's west, anyways, blew off, and it put so much particulate matter in the air that it actually, if you see pictures of the 1920s, most of them were in the rain, but it lowered the temperature by a few degrees for quite a while, and so that's a fast fix. Of course, we could not blow off a volcano, but our friends are coming by to, the Pet Boys. They're coming in to tune up the planet and make us all healthy again. Make sure I'm all healthy again. They have you pop a couple of those off, and what's going to happen is you'll have more particulate matter. You will have less drought. You will have cooler temperatures, and it may other areas get a little bit colder, but it's certainly going to keep the mass majority of the planet from burning up, and I think that's a good thing. Anyway, so that's happening. That's a real thing. And when the planet couldn't get any worse with the evil people, Putin, Trump, all the crazy, nasty people that want to do bad things to people, it's almost like, can someone come help us? Some of the pictures of it right now, it really does look like something from the Catholic Church. Something, gold, and I'm like, oh God, you're kidding me. Wouldn't that be crazy? After all, it was Jesus Christ after all. You're kidding. Anyway, oh, that's so crazy. There was a joke though. We were kids. I lived in a very Catholic area in the Bay Area. I think the Bay Area is just Catholic. That's all it is. It's like, it's like Saudi Arabia is Muslim. It's like the Bay Area is like Catholic. So there was a thing that said, Jesus is coming, and then we would always say, because remember, Jesus is coming, and we're like, yeah, and then we quietly always say, yeah, look busy. Anyway, so I felt like I need to be on my best behavior or something. There's a weird vibe with that I could be a complete Fruit Loop, but that's my impression. Be productive, be helpful, help others, make sure they make the transition, wake them up to what's going on. So, all right. That was almost a half hour babbling. Good luck.